It's not a traditional bridge that has water under it. There's nothing under except a hard pavement. So it's a real good bet that you jump off, you're going to die.
My name's Bud Clark, and I used to be the mayor of Portland. When I grew up, it was known as Suicide Bridge. I mean, that's what we usually called it, was Suicide Bridge. I was standing here one day, just getting ready to leave, just before 11 o'clock, and I was looking down, and I saw this young man walking down the bridge, very nice, you know, briskly and so forth, obviously a young man, and suddenly he jumps up on the bridge. Now, he had to be athletic because that bridge rail is 50 inches high, but he just jumped up there and was on his feet, and he started walking. And I thought, what's that crazy fool going to do? Walk it like a tightrope? And no, he just faced off to the city. It was a beautiful day, and faced off the city and jumped like he was jumping into a lake.
That's the sound. My office is located directly underneath the Vista Bridge. Typically, I encounter about one a year, although I know there are more than that. Last week, a young woman jumped from the bridge. I got out of the car and came over to take a look, and sure enough, there was a broken body underneath a blanket. I do love this location. I do love the Vista Bridge, even though it's a killing machine.
When I was 3, my father committed suicide jumping off the Vista Avenue Bridge. And I remember my sister and I, many times over our lives, trying to figure out what it would have been like if our father had lived. I always felt I was a child looking in other people's lives, wishing our life could be like that, but it never was. And I have thought of suicide myself many times. I'm very aware of this problem.
I have a history of suicide in my family. My grandfather committed suicide on my dad's side, and then my dad committed suicide too. When you commit suicide, all you do is screw up your family. That's what I found. I worry about young people committed suicide because they don't know what's going on. But sometimes I think people look at the future of the world and they think in their life, and they just can't comprehend that. And it's just, is it worth it? Is it worth all this pain and so forth that you go through when you're young, you know?
Years ago, my husband and I were driving down a road, and I saw a man dart out across the 3 lanes, and the car, which was probably about 6 or 7 car lengths in front of me, hit the man. I ran over to him. He immediately started saying, "I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry." He looked into my eyes and he said, "I didn't know what else to do." But as soon as the action was taken, then the awareness came over him about what he had done. It was a very powerful experience, knowing about my father and the suicide he contemplated and carried out.
When you're at the top of the bridge, it's very easy to climb over and just throw yourself over. Done. It doesn't require any thought. It's easy to do. But what happens when people are on their way down, people have said this who have jumped off, say, the Golden Gate Bridge and survived, which is miraculous. They always say to themselves, what have I done? This was the wrong choice. It always happens during the fall. The more that you give a person pause before they jump, the more they're likely not to jump. It needs to be more difficult to throw yourself off of this bridge.
You're not going to keep, people from committing suicide, but I think there should be some greater deterrent.
And that's a small span of bridge. It's not like the lengthy Golden Gate Bridge. I cannot see why it couldn't come to fruition to have a barrier on that bridge and have it aesthetically pleasing.
People who are on MAX trains, people who are driving on Jefferson Street should not have to see broken bodies, exploded bodies. That's not part of the day-to-day experience.
In a sense, I feel as though I've come full circle to be here on the same day the young woman took her life. It's just, I can't even imagine. It's not for me to understand.